It's live on the radio.
Oh yeah, you get us live on the radio, Jai. I'm gonna get us live out here in the social media land.
We live on the radio.
Oh, look at us. We're going live everywhere. I see us. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We're back. We got the crew. I'm making it public so y'all can share it to all your frenzies.
Let's do the intro.
Hit that intro video, Jai. Welcome to Home Service Happy Hour, brought to you by Service Monster. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. There's some. That sounds like some Home Service Happy Hour if I ever heard it. Now it's real. Oh, I gotta turn the volume down on my phone here.
Sound effects. We got all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's this show got way better when Jai started hanging out with us while we do it. Way better. I did the thing. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen. I did the thing where the top of my Yeti mug found the garbage disposal. These things are pretty damn resilient. Like, they still work just as good even when they look like the dog chewed on them. That's number two. The nice thing is, you know exactly where it is when you turn that garbage disposal on, and you're like, you're like, there it is, found it. I was wondering where the cover of the Yeti thing went. Found exactly where it is. How you guys doing on this fine Wednesday? Everybody good?
Great.
Just crushing it. Sean, I had a landscape lighting coaching call today, and a boy, Scott Ruhoff, was in there, and he's like, yeah, I'm using Higher Lead Chill. And I was like, well, let me know how we do. And if you need to pick my brain at all, you know, hit it. Yeah, Scott's the man. I love Scott. He's a super good dude. Got to give the shout out to Service Monster. There's a QR code over here. Now's the time. You guys, we're talking recruiting today. Today is all about recruiting stuff. But in addition to getting your recruiting going right now, if you don't have a good CRM, don't like your CRM, don't have a CRM at all, I just talked to an irrigation business. Super good dude. And I know he's a super good dude because he's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Total cheesehead. But I met him at one of Ryan Lee's events, actually. And, or I guess it was a Site One event that Ryan was at, and Ryan invited me to come do my nerdy thing up on stage. And so I started, you know, you probably could just smell the Packer fan on me. Like, we just smell like stale beer and brats. So you must have smelled me in the room. And started BSing with him, just caught back up with him today talking bookkeeping. He's doing just under $1 million without a CRM. With Google Calendar and QuickBooks for billing. And I was just like, man, I'd love to do the books for you. And this is how unbiased I am about our service. I think you should go get holy shit, look at this guy. It's like, it just comes out of thin air every once in a while. Just miraculously. You just feeling guilty because you can't come ice fishing, Chad?
He heard beer and bratwurst and popped up.
The ice fishing is not out yet.
It's not out?
I'm still trying.
Okay.
My wife and volleyball daughter are going to Utah, so I have to babysit my 12-year-old. If I can figure out my 12-year-old somewhere else to grandma or somewhere else, problem is my grandma. This is a long story. There's a whole web of all these little things that I can't book it now, but I'm trying.
Yeah, you got a lot of ins and outs to coordinate.
You got to really take me out of that thread because it keeps messing with my mind.
That's why I'm going to leave you in there. That's exactly why I'm going to leave you in there. It's too late now.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Good to have you. Hey. Good to have you. But Chad, I was saying, I was talking to a guy, hopefully a future bookkeeping client on a demo. He's damn near hitting $1 million in sales, and he doesn't have a CRM. And I'm just like, dude, you got to go. And his wife was on the call too. And I was like, all right, first, like, this is going to be Katie's problem. Like, Katie, you need to go look at a CRM because she's the one doing the admin stuff. And I was like, yeah, Josh might not care, but Katie's going to love this just to get the reporting. And by the way, you know, shout out to our sponsor, Service Monster, of all the CRMs, has the best reporting I've found. And I've seen a lot of them. And that's actually the only part that I really care that much about is a nerdy bookkeeper. That's where I get all my stuff. It was like, it blew my mind. I've seen some $1 million+ businesses get there without doing bookkeeping. They're usually miserable though. Like, by the time they get there, Chad and Michael, with all you guys coaching, I'm guessing you've seen some of that too, where bigger businesses, but they're like pants on fire and they have no idea what's going on. I've seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen anybody start pushing $1 million without a CRM.
I have a
Yeah.
$5 million painting company who doesn't have one.
Oh, no kidding. That's
They're
intense.
the dream coaching client.
If you don't know any better, you don't know what you don't know, right?
They don't know what they don't know, and they're not stupid. You can't get to $5.5 million being dumb, right? But they just don't. And they have purchased this one that's taken, like they went nuts. When ordered a custom one, it's not from one of these bigger companies. I haven't heard of this company that's building it for them. It's supposed to have launched Friday. I don't meet with him again until Tuesday, so I'm curious to see how this thing looks.
I was gonna say I've never heard one of those be on schedule. That's my only experience with custom.
No, I don't know if it was supposed to. It may have supposed to have been launched months ago, but they actually did get it provided to them last week.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, when you're back on the show in 3 months, when you join us randomly again and don't announce your presence, you'll have to tell us how it went.
Well, I will tell you, I can't help it that I have a client right now, and he had to take his dad to the hospital just for a routine checkup. He has Alzheimer's, so that's why I'm on here when he doesn't show up.
When you come for ice fishing, we'll do an episode, so you'll be able to get on. You'll be able to get on that one.
Dude, I want nothing more to come, so don't get me wrong.
I know. I'm just trying to.
Here's the crazy thing: I never am told no by my wife, and she's like, "No, you can't do this one." I'm like, "What? No? What's that word? No? No, I don't hear none." That tells me why.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this concept.
Yeah, so I'm usually being a free bird. She's like, "No, you can't do that. You got to stay home with Millie." I'm like, "What? Why?"
She's 12. She knows how to cut.
12.
She can use knives.
So
she knows how to cut.
Your mom's going to Wisconsin, and your other two sisters just had babies. So, no, they can't drive you to school every day. Like,
they just had babies. They probably need a 12-year-old to help them out.
Yeah, but they can't drive her back and forth. They live too far away to take her to school. I'm like,
far.
let's just take her out of school.
That's right.
So
Seth Goldberg checking in. Seth was just over here for ice fishing. He can't make the business owner event, so he actually flew here with his 4-year-old, and we were out. He did everyone a massive service, which is he came the weekend that my furnace broke. So we were out there with all my 3 kids and his 4-year-old, and the furnace broke. Luckily, it broke in the middle of the day this time. The last time it stopped working, it was in the middle of the night, and that really sucks when it's in the middle of the night and you're like, I guess we're going to go try to find a hotel room somewhere once we get the kids out of this slowly freezing fish house, which is kind of funny. It's like people winter camp all the time, right? Like, you'd be fine, but you're out there to sit in a 70-degree fish house, drink too much beers and watch movies and maybe catch a fish or two. You're not there to sit in the cold. That'd be crazy. Ice fishing, sitting in the cold. How absurd. So now the furnace is officially getting fixed. Seth was just here for the 3 hours he and I spent learning how to take a furnace apart in a fish house and keeping kids alive while we did it. So thanks for falling on that sword, Seth. You're the man.
Hey, let me say congratulations to Angela for getting married a year ago that I haven't said hello, congratulations to. I know it wasn't a year ago, but I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it was last year.
Last year.
Okay, it was a year ago then. I've seen you 3 or 4 times since then, but still. Congratulations. How's the honeymoon year?
Thank you. So yeah, it was 4 weeks ago. And honeymoon was great. We went to Europe and then straight from Europe to Salt Lake City to speak at a conference. And so we've only actually been home a couple of days since the wedding.
Does it feel to you like that's just par for the course? So because you guys are always like moving and shaking and speaking and doing things. Do you get homesick at all? Or do you get like travel sick? Like, man, we haven't gone anywhere in weeks. We need to get off our asses and like go do something.
JC gets travel sick. I'd say he is like, let's go somewhere. For sure. I could sit longer at home and not leave the house. But we've never been gone that long. Like usually we would come home, just the way Christmas break worked, and we didn't have the girls. And we decided instead of, and it was much less work, instead of coming home from Europe, switching bags, and then going to Salt Lake for that conference, we got a direct flight from Amsterdam to Salt Lake City. like that saved us 4 different flights to try and get Amsterdam. I mean, because there's nothing that goes direct into Wilmington, right? So every time we fly to Wilmington, we would have had to fly to JFK, then Wilmington, and then Wilmington to Atlanta, Atlanta to Salt Lake City. So doing one flight, even though we had to pack for 3 weeks, that just was a huge save.
I saw a note here from Jai. Said, Dan, do you have your podcast mic on? And I don't think I did. I think, do I sound different now?
Yeah, you sound like I can hear you now.
Yeah. Thanks, Jai. Thanks for the note.
Yep.
Why don't you guys yell at me when I do stupid stuff? You guys don't you know you're supposed to yell at me when I'm doing something stupid?
Don't you know?
My wife is good at it. She yells at me all the time. Angela, how do you feel? I feel like probably nothing changed because you and JC have been like living this life for over a year now, but how does it feel to be Mrs. Chinowski?
Well, the name part's different. You're right. We've been living this life and that has been great. The name is hard. So G2D conference is pretty big and going on the main stage, there's like 3,000 people. And I'm just like backstage, like, don't say my name wrong. Don't say whatever you do, don't say my name wrong. So yeah, but it's great. It's great to say, I mean, you guys know it was a hilarious year of girlfriend and now
ex-girlfriend for a while.
It's I'll still be the ex-girlfriend, but that's all great.
That's a good title.
I mean, you just mentioned Marty. It was so fun to get to hang out with your wife. Finally.
I know, isn't it funny? I wonder the perception because she's like normal and treats people well, and I'm such aloof, and I just always wonder if people are just like, what's wrong with her? Why would she put up with this guy? Like, that's always my perception of what other people must think, because otherwise she's just in the background being the things, and people are like, Dan says he's married, but who would marry that guy? And then they meet her and they're like, oh, your wife is like really nice and normal. Like, what the hell's wrong with her that she married you? Like, that's the story I'm telling myself. I don't know what's wrong with her.
She was really awesome and just so hopeful, so inclusive, so fun. So, I mean, not that I thought your wife would be anything less than awesome and fun, but
yeah. It's weird. It's weird that I've convinced a normal human to marry me. I don't know. Like I said, I still think there's got to be some screw. She's got to have some screws loose. I just haven't figured out what's wrong with her yet. That she would be willing to put up with me. But it was in a cool way, Angela. That's the first time she's gone to anything with my business friends. Like when we have business people in town, she'll hang out. But she's never come to a conference because she's got the big job in the family, right? It's like she just sent me 4 trips in February that she has for her work. So like her availability to come do business stuff with me is minimized, right? It's like we juggle these conflicting travel schedules. So it was just super cool. And frankly, like I'd rather have her come to something like that where, yeah, it's like businessy people, but we're not actually doing businessy stuff. We're doing just cool, fun stuff the whole time. So she was pumped. She was excited to come and actually, like she sees us on podcasts, right? So she knows you guys all exist, but she like, it's a different world, right? It's just, everybody's on a screen. It's a different world. So it was super cool experience. Basically everybody but Michael, really, she was super to not meet my business, Brokeback Mountain, whatever your wife calls it. Michael's wife thought it was funny because like the first time we traveled together, I was like, we'll just share a hotel room because I'm cheap, right? I'm just like, why would we pay for 2 separate hotel rooms when we can just get one with 2 beds in it? And I'm not making fun of myself because that's still what I would prefer. Like, why would we pay for 2 rooms? We can just pay for 1.
Extreme frugality.
Yeah, I mean, I got better shit to spend my money on, like Busch Lights and stuff. I got,
Dude, a number of years ago, though, I had to kind of stop you on that because you actually had me in the same room with a female from the company. I think my wife might have a problem with that, dude.
Yeah, that was an Airbnb where I felt like we got bad instruction on exactly what was going on there. Because wasn't that the same one where the bed fell apart when you sat in it? Or was that Terry's bed?
Yeah, that's right. Gunshots, and then I fell out of the bed and shit. Yeah, the bed broke. I'm fucking flying into a wall.
That one was set a low not a low bar. That one set the bar for
It
like,
did.
okay, that one took it too far. But you know, I'm getting better. Now we share hotel rooms. It's good. It's good.
I'm not sharing a hotel room with anybody.
Yeah, you're
Not
not,
doing it.
except for when you come here ice fishing, you're sharing a smaller
Well, that's
room.
that's different. That's a
Yeah.
man cave vacation. That's that rule goes out the door. But if we're traveling and we're staying somewhere, and I'm getting my own spot, and I'm nobody's sharing a room with me. So sorry.
Thanks. It's good
That's
to know
normal.
your boundaries.
Most adults are like that. Dan's not, and I just was at first like, really, Dan? Like, really? It's like
Yeah.
$150 a night, and he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But knowing
There's-
Dan, super extroverted, loves to talk. I think he'd like talk to me until I was like, Dan, shut up, I gotta go sleep. Then
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, I like hanging out. I want to like, and here's my bias, which is like we get to hang out this way, but we don't get to hang out in person that often. Like it's the blessing and the curse of the businesses we're in that we're all like. If you were in town and I got to see you all the time, I'd probably be like, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, I get to see you for 2 days, and then I might not see you again for months. So we're hanging out as much as humanly possible. That's my rule. Speaking of which, Chad, I'll be down in Dallas again in April. We got to go get ourselves kicked out of a steakhouse somewhere. So I'll send you dates. We'll go get rowdy.
I'll start seeing which one I only want to go try once.
Yeah. Yeah. Last year, if you would believe this or not, I don't know. Chad and I, when we're combined, like we're already probably the two loudest guys in the world. And then when you combine us, we just get louder and swear more. And we got some looks from the people in that steakhouse that were like grandmas that were very disappointed in us. We got those types of looks because we were just telling obscure stories and swearing a little too much.
We got told that the kids, there were kids around. We're looking around like we don't see any kids.
Yeah, we got
That was what the
scolded.
bartender said. It's like
We got scolded.
there's no
we got
kids.
scolded.
We're in a bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so fun. Good food.
It was super good food. I'd be.
Bob's
wouldn't-
Chopping Steakhouse.
I'll say if we end up back there, I wouldn't be disappointed. We'll see if they remember us. We'll see if they
Texas
remember
has great food, man. Dallas has great food. Really does.
They do. Especially if you're
Probably need
getting
to go to La Hacienda next time. That's my favorite Tex-Mex.
I'm down for
Never
it.
disappoints.
Yeah.
And they let me swear there.
Well, good. Then I'll fit right in.
And so
Angela, I gotta say before I want to get into recruiting stuff, but I love the double map setup that you guys have now. I was like, oh, I got this sweet idea, and like most of the time I see you, you're sitting right where you are, and you have the black and gold background, and I was like, man, what do you get people that like do everything they want to do? What's the right gift? And I was like, oh, it's a map where they can track all the things they did, everything that they do. And I pulled it up and it just like randomly is black and gold. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, it's just speaking to me. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Brand.
You got room for one more in here?
Yeah. Hey, saddle up, partner. So it was funny. Like I was so pumped about the map thing. And then I forget which one of you posted it, but it was like right. I mean, I must have hit purchase. And then I was like sifting through Facebook and I was like, son of a bitch. Like right after I got it. I mean, it was within 24 hours. I don't know if it was like, well, I was still sitting in the same spot, but I saw that you already had one and I was just like, well, like I'm committed. You're just going to have 2 of them now.
And yours is way better. I had gotten JC one for Christmas, and it's just like it's just like a roll up banner. And so it now hangs behind his desk because he had nothing.
Hers needs to get framed because if you were to like put tax in that, you have tax all over the wall. Yours is back, so you can put tax in, don't have to worry about anything.
And
Yeah.
it's like super
depth.
classy, customized, like, yeah. Brand colors on point. So it
It's
is like
super
the
on brand.
focal point of the house. It's in the kitchen, dining room, off the living, like you can see it from everywhere in the house. So
It's a good one. It was a good one. It was actually
And
cool. Just looking at your video of like all your pins already. It's just like, holy shit, you guys. Like you do get
That's
around.
not even 2 years.
Crazy. It's crazy. As I noted though, I texted you guys Antarctica looking real bare. So you guys got work to do. You gotta get down
Well,
there.
Greenland's looking good in 2025 once Trump
Once
takes
we buy
over,
that
so.
shit.
Isn't Trump buying it? Yeah.
There
Why not?
is a cruise to Antarctica. It was my parents' favorite cruise. It starts at Rio de Janeiro. You stop like all the ways along, and then you get to the bottom and just like take a excursion to Antarctica. So
So you're gonna do it. You get
maybe
there.
someday. Maybe someday.
JC's already shaking his head. We'll see. We'll see. JC can't even make it up here ice fishing. How's he gonna get down there to ice fish? There's way more ice.
You're our only red spot in the U.S.
Mhm.
The only place we haven't gone that we.
It's on the books. All right. But we got work to do today. We got to talk recruiting because it is, and I've had this conversation a couple times. I've had it in a marketing lens too. Actually today on my coaching Colin Ryan's group, had it as a marketing angle, but super true in recruiting, which is right now, unless Sean can tell us if something changed, but right now, this minute, like today, is the best recruiting market of the year. And it's not going to be this good until next year at this time. And it's still going to be good for a month or two yet, but the farther you get into the spring, the worse it's going to get. There's some supply and demand in effect. Sean, can you lay that out for us here? And then we'll start talking to people about how to navigate it, tricks of the trade, if you will, to make sure you can still hire awesome people come March and April, even if you need to recruit them in January. But give us a little background on why it is the case that right now is the best time in the world to recruit.
There's a couple reasons. One is we have our Christmas bills coming in now, and so if you're a $25 an hour guy or $20 an hour guy or gal, you're getting your bills coming in. So it kind of correlates with our New Year's resolutions. We want to do things with our financially. We want new careers. We want new jobs. These bills are coming in. I got to make more money this year. I need a good job this year. Smart people plan ahead, and smart people look for jobs that they know they're not going to take until the end of February or March. And we want to hire smart people. So all of that makes sense if you line it out. You can Google or go on Indeed, and all the data shows that January is the best month of the year to recruit. That's just the data on it. Now, we're in the middle of January right now. So that is like the best time because of you mentioned the supply and demand. So we've got a lot of those A players that are right now going in Indeed and Facebook and Craigslist and whatnot, looking for jobs, the smart people. The C employees are still dicking around, having fun, watching TV, doing all that stuff instead of looking for a job. They just don't plan ahead. That's not what C players do. And so we've got a lot of supply called labor and candidates in there. And your competition, if you're better than them, typically is not in there looking for candidates yet. So all Indeed is an auction, right? When you boost and sponsor, you're paying and hopefully outpaying your competition to get more application flow. That's all it is an auction. So if you have less people bidding at the auction called Indeed, the price of your labor and those boosting and sponsoring ads is going to go down. It's just supply and demand. So
And
that's
for
another reason.
better quality
It's much less expensive to find better employees. I mean, that's like the dream come true.
Yep. There's two things in addition to that I've seen that like cause the pileup. One is, and we all run into this when we hire a new person and they're like, hey, when do I get my first paycheck? Right. Because a lot of especially the technician labor force, when they start a new job, there's like a week lag or sometimes a 2-week lag before they get their first paycheck. And that's like really painful to them. And they know that, at least most of the A players know that. The C, B, C, D players bitch at you for it like it's your fault. But the A players know that if they switch jobs, there's a lag in pay. And so they don't want to switch jobs during the holidays. And that's why recruiting in October, November, December can be so tough because people don't want to switch jobs going into the holidays. They want stability. And I think also, this is just me, this is my perspective on it. I don't have data to support this necessarily, but I think when you're finding people in January, they're still employed. And I think this is really important. And Sean, this goes to something you always remind us about, which is recruiting and hiring are two different things. We don't need to do them both at the same time. Just like marketing and sales are two different things. You can market and go get leads and convert them later, or sell them now for a future time period. We can do the same in recruiting. We don't have to serve them right away. We don't have to convert them to be an employee right away, but we do need to meet them when they're shopping, right? No different than marketing when people aren't shopping for your service is really difficult. You want to market in the springtime when it's gangbusters and there's clients everywhere. Even if you can't serve them, you want to get their information. Maybe you serve them in the summer and fill your summer void or whatever. But I tend to find, this is totally anecdotal. I don't know if there's any data in the world to support this, Sean, but it seems like the sooner you catch people in the new year, the more likely it is that they have a job. And therefore, when you engage with them, and I have found this to be important in our recruiting at Best Damn Bookkeeping, because sometimes it's 6 to 8 months between when I interview somebody and when I hire them. Thomas, who I interviewed October, emailed me yesterday and literally said, hey, you had mentioned you thought January you might be needing another one. How's it looking? Like, that dude's coming to work for me, man. Like 4 or 5 months later, he's still checking in. And I was like, hey, man, thanks for checking in. I'm starting to see the upswing. I think I got like 25 demos already in January here. It'll probably be like, let me get through these, and then it'll probably be March, start point. Like, how does that sound? He's like, I'm in. Whenever you say go, I'm coming. Dude's got a job, right? He's just waiting for me to tell him when it's go time. And so if you catch them when you have a job, it's easier for them to stay at that job instead of quit, because they know they're coming your way. You just got to keep the line of communication open. And it seems like if you catch them in January or February, they haven't gotten so frustrated with the job they do have. And if you're saying, hey, I'm going to be hiring you in March or April, I just had to meet you now because I know you're an A player and you're looking right now. I will be in touch as we get through February and March with like a more concrete start point, whatever that looks like for you guys in your business. But I think you have way better odds of finding them because they're looking now, and making sure they keep their existing job until you're ready to hire them, because you do need to bridge that gap. And if you don't keep communication up, or if they already quit their job, then they got to go find something sooner. Not to say they find something, don't like it, and still come work for you. But it does seem like that there's a trend of that in January, which is they're probably still employed, and that's good for you. You want to hire people that have a job. That's who you want to recruit. You don't want to hire people that are totally unemployed. Oh, Michael, squirrel, go squirrel.
That was gold. I love, like, always be recruiting, having a database of qualified applicants to keep them warm. One more thing that I learned from founder of one of the franchises I used to work with is you think about your avatar, who you're servicing, and you've got pest control, exterior cleaning, landscaping, painting, junk removal, concrete coatings, garage doors, carpet cleaning, construction, cleanup. There are hundreds of people hiring at the exact same time as you. And A players know they can get a job anywhere, and they're coming off the books quickly. And so if you wait until the last minute to hire, chances are the people who are hungry and want to work somewhere have already found a home. So now you have to find their second or third home because they work for a bad boss or something. So there's another reason to start early on, because if you don't, all your savvy competition in all the industries that I just named are all going to be gobbling people up in January, February, March.
And Michael, that's an important point too. I mean, if you don't have a good job that somebody's going to want and stay at, I mean, the recruiting is going to be a waste of your time and money too. So
For sure.
it's, I can't tell you how many clients that we've helped where, okay, Indeed's got quick apply for candidates. So they're applying to 10 different places, right? And so what happens is they might take another job because of being overpromised this, that, or that. You're going to make $1,200 a week with us. Mm-hmm. So if they've applied at your place and you're at least staying in touch with them, even if they do take another position, I can't tell you how many times, because we see it on our workflows, that we're sending them out emails on behalf of our client who never hired them. We're not letting them go anywhere. That they get that first 3 or 4 paychecks and it's like $800 a week. They're ready. I would tell my son to quit that job, or my daughter. If you were promised $1,200, $1,300 a week and you're getting $800, find something else. That's not right. It happens all the time with our clients.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of business owners don't take hiring as a task that is an all the time thing like marketing and advertising. It's not just a January thing. It should be a monthly concentrated thing that you do You should be talking to people all year round. You know, like you just said, Dan, earlier in your deal that you had that guy in the wing. Now I'm not that. I'm guilty of being the ladder of of the coaching here. My business isn't really hiring right now, and we should be looking into it a little bit more than we are. But we're steady, strong, and we're real solid right now wherever we are. But I still should be out there looking, and we normally used to be. I don't know what's happened since COVID. We've kind of been lackadaisical since then. But at one point in time, I think probably 2019, I had 5 to 10 people on a list that wanted to work for us.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you if I called 3 of them, out of the 10, let's just say 3 of them could have started the next day or within the week.
Yep.
Then they were all A players. I mean, literally just, we just had so full of A players. 19 was one of our strongest years to date we've had with experience wise. And we're about back there now. But we were talking all the time to people. And people don't do that, right? You're not doing that. You should schedule a day a month just to talk to people. And then you should be spending money with, Sean or whoever else and Indeed or whatever, and getting that gene pool of people to hire so that when you're ready or needed or some jackass that works for you quits, you got someone to slip right in there to hopefully pick up the slack other than the lead time of getting them trained.
Yeah, or you need to fire somebody, but if you don't have that list of 5 to 10, you're way less likely to fire them because you're going to make excuses and put up with their shitty behaviors for a way longer period of time because you don't have an A player already ready to go.
Or I think even as important is looking at your average players that you have and getting rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think too many service businesses settle for average and the nuances of just having a body do the job okay.
Yep.
But they have to settle for average because they're not better than average themselves. A player comes in and you're disorganized and chaos is going on a day-to-day basis. A player is gonna be like, I don't need this. I can go work anywhere. So you have to continue to raise your game and stay one step ahead because you're never going to be able to hire people that are better than you.
Well, that's what me and you are for, right, Michael? That's what we train our business, our people to do.
But it's not a switch. It's not a light switch. It's a dimmer switch.
So I love this topic because it dives into culture. And Michael and Dan, you guys both know how much I love numbers. I mean, I'm a numbers fanatic.
Yeah.
Let's just talk numbers for the rest of the show. But
no, I did see JC actually booked 15 minutes with me on Friday. I don't know if he's going to show up or not, but he booked 15 minutes with me.
He's going to bring his abacus into the call. I'm like, I see 7 here, but I need 8.
Yeah. So he's not totally immune to numbers.
If people really understood the amount it costs to hire somebody to train them, to the time invested, and then to do all that just for them to quit because you have bad culture, because you, like Chad said, you told, or Sean said, you told them the wrong things, you lied about things, you don't have a training plan set up, and like you're setting them up for failure. Just to repeat that, like that cost alone is very significant. Like just our time lost and energy lost to keep repeating that cycle over and over and over. And I'm not saying we got it dialed in my company at all. Like we get things wrong quite often, but culture we are freaking just thriving on right now. I've got one guy, he was seasonal last year in 2023 for Christmas Lights. He wanted to come back for 2024. We brought him back on. He just talked to me last night. Now he works as a waiter at a restaurant and makes insane, maybe $1,500 to $2,000 a week some weeks during the summer at a restaurant. He wants to come work full time for me. And I told him, like, dude, you're crazy because you're going to make a lot less money. I can't match it. He's like, I get it. He's like, I'll still be able to work there every once in a while, but like, this is just fun. And I like being here and I'm happy and there's a lot less stress. And, that it's not just what I'm doing, but it's what everybody else is doing within the company too, to make that a winning culture, to keep and attract like just those A rock star personalities. And I hate when I see it over and over and over, and people blame the economy, people blame people blame everything else except for themselves and what they're doing within their company. Because it's hard for them to look within themselves and say, maybe I'm the problem, maybe I'm the issue, maybe I can't communicate, maybe I'm micromanaging. But they're too busy pointing fingers and just blindly spending that money, hiring, firing over and over and over.
It's because if they're not showing the A game, like I'm sure Michael and I teach and you JC have, is once you get an A player in there, they don't want to fuck around, man. This is it. Where's the systems? Where's my numbers? How do I do this? Where's our sales training? You know, they want to be nurtured and they want to showcase their skills. And they don't want to come into B player, C player type business, right? And so, and that's what I mean. That's what thrives why I'm such a good business coach. There's so many out there that they don't know how to even get to an A player type of company. And it's just like for instance, I was on a sales meeting the other day, and I had 3 of my sales guys call me afterwards because I chewed their asses out. I had a shitty week 2 weeks ago, and I don't normally chew them out, but this is a bad week. And when I say chew them out, I mean this is a puppy dog chew out. This wasn't a wolf chew. You know, and so 3 of them called me up. 3 of the 5 sales guys called me up within the hour and said, "Man, I'm sorry." I'm like, "What are you sorry for?" I said, I haven't been putting my A hat on." I'm like, "Good. Well, get your A hat on. Go to work, man. Go do it. I appreciate the phone call." You know, that kind of stuff. That's what it takes to do it. It is something that I expect excellence, and they know it. I bleed excellence when I show up in my company, and they know it because I'm not out to look at anything wrong. But when I see something wrong, I don't walk by it.
Yeah,
I don't walk by it. If there's a piece of trash on the ground, I pick it up. I mean that's just who I am. And when I look at someone's estimate and it's missing something, I'm not going to skip it. You're like, "Why don't you have this on here?" And then you get the deer in the headlights look. It's like, well, you got lazy for a minute. You can't do that. We deal with fire in people's houses. It can burn their house down. You cannot not be perfect.
Rob had to correct you. He said, "Don't you mean you piss excellence? You don't bleed excellence. You piss excellence." JC, to one thing you had said earlier, I think the hardest part about recruiting, and Sean, you should probably do this for every client, is it's always in the mirror. And I think that's why people suck at it, is because there's only one place you can look, and it's the hardest place to look. So Sean, whenever somebody signs up for a new service, you should send them a higher lead chill mirror. Like, hey, this is the best place to start. And always come back to this. There's one thing that makes your recruiting work, and it's this, and we're here to help you.
How do I fix my business? Send them a mirror, man. I like that.
Yeah. And that's not an easy topic to bring up and say, like, dude, you suck. Like, you really need to look yourself in the mirror and start like figuring out what you're doing wrong. Because they're gonna get defensive and like, "No, you're wrong. I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah." And we've got some friends that are in the same boat, and it's just, you try and correct them, you try and help them, but sometimes they're stuck in their own ways. And
you can't lead the horse to the water and make him drink. They gotta want. They have to reckon, and they don't know what they don't know, and they gotta want something that they don't know they don't have. That's why I hate fucking selling coaching, because it's just like, dude, just give me a month. Your life will be totally changed. Just give me a month.
Got to get you to like.
And then they're looking at you like, "Yeah, you're full of shit." It's like, okay, then why have 30 of my clients all have literally are up 30 to 90% over in 2024, while you're complaining about the economy and other shit, and every single one of my clients is up at minimum 30%.
Yeah, it's easier for most people. It's easier to point fingers and blame other shit, because
of course it is.
That's the easiest route. I think recruiting is probably the hardest part. And Sean, this one's my favorite. But this is, how you have those favorite things that you actually really hate, but they're so ridiculous that they become like something that cracks you up. This is the thing that I hate about recruiting, but it is the most hilarious thing, is when you have a client and they discontinue your service because the people you recruited for them and they chose to hire quit. And they say, you recruited bad people for me because they didn't stay. And that's, I think, where it's like, there's only one thing that you can do, is you got to send them a mirror. And it's my favorite in that they should have never been a recruiting client anyway, because they haven't done enough work on themselves to even know how to lead people. And the fact that they're going to blame their recruiting service for who they chose to hire and who quit their leadership and their pay structure and their business model, whatever it is, are going to come back and be like, "Your system sucks, Sean. You don't know how to recruit people. They didn't stay at all." That is hilarious to me, but it also shows you like the severe lack of leadership in some of the folks in the industries. So it's
Yeah.
sad. It's funny.
It's
sad.
I mean, there's so much there. I had somebody, we got an ops manager for last year in a rural area that's got about freaking 3 people that live in this fucking little town. And we found him somebody. Took a while, took some money, but we found him. Hey, do you think I can maybe do a video testimonial with you on this? Because it was a tough job. Well, if it wasn't for me, we would have never found this guy. Okay, well, fuck you then. All right, I get it. Thank you for your business. So like got MF left and right. I mean, just got called everything but a normal human being by this person. I'm just like, what the hell's going on? I'm talking to my account manager. I'm like, don't talk to my account manager anymore. Okay.
Which is hilarious because they hired you to help them. They finally got a result and they're like, yeah, we would have got it if it wasn't for me. It's like, okay.
It took 2 months to find somebody that you would have spent probably $30,000 going to a recruiting agency to go find that one person. So we did it for a couple $1,000. So I just got an email from that person a week ago going, hey, can you help me find a couple technicians? The 2 you found me a couple of years ago are still with us and doing great. And I'm just sitting there going, am I on Quaaludes or what? What the hell is, I can't believe this is even happening right now. So Nikki, our account manager is like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? I'm like, just do it, man. You got to just put up with some shit. But it's like, I'm not shy in saying, you know what, you got to really look at your ego. I talk about ego a lot because I think that's the top 1 or 2 things outside of maybe fear that holds business owners back is their ego and fear, which are basically hand in hand with each other. And that forces them in a soft way to say you need to look in the mirror. I mean, it's your ego. You do an interview and then you're going to sit there and look at this guy and say, you need to tell me how worthy you are to work for my company. I got news for you. There's 100 other jobs an employee can go find right now, making probably more money. In fact, I think you need to show them through some group interview presentation and things like that, and talking about your culture, what you have in it for them. That's when you get to the interview, that's a sales pitch. That's not a screening question time. Again, it's just insane.
Yeah. And I think this has been a trend over the last decade, and I don't think it's going anywhere. The power in the job market has shifted. It used to be that the employer was in charge and people needed the jobs, and so the employer had the leverage, right? And now the employees have all the leverage, and they can leave and find a new job in 2 seconds. And if the economy really tanks, maybe that changes. But even during a little bit of a recession that we've had, that didn't really change, right? And the best businesses are the ones that adapted to the fact that they have the leverage, and it's my responsibility to be the best place for them to work. It's not their responsibility to be the best employee for me. It's my responsibility to be the best employer for them. Extreme ownership right there. Yeah.
We got to get off the call, but I love this book. I think it's a really good book. It's actually a really better listen. Listen to Jocko talk about. Mrs. Chanowski, you always have books. Do you have any books you want to recommend before we break out?
Well, that's a weird thing to call your ex-girlfriend, but I guess.
You can grab the culture one, culture code. It's right on top of that one. Since you picked me on the book. But I do like the idea, Sean. This is a great culture book since you put me on the spot. And my favorite thing about this book is the author wrote in it the Angelo code.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, Sean, I definitely think you should use the swag idea of when somebody becomes a client, they should get a mirror in there.
I love that.
Yeah, like a logoed up mirror. Be like,
Hey,
your success with your new hires starts right here.
Yeah, the most important. Like, we're gonna do an awesome job for you, but the most important thing in your recruiting business is what you see here. And
You bet, man.
I like it.
We're talking a lot about core values and leadership now too. With I've got more calls now, or almost as many calls with clients, putting together their core values and their culture for them, or improving on it, or moving forward with it, than I do demos anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really been fun.
I did. I don't know. I think you're gonna believe me, even though when I texted you that see you guys. When I texted you, you said, "Who is this?" in reply to my text message. I'm pretty sure you have my number saved in your phone. But I did record a core value video today into how to organize those. And one thing I want to close on, we got 15 minutes left here, and I want to get to, we talked about why to recruit now, and that recruiting and hiring are two different things, and this is the best time of year to do it. I'm not saying, to Chad's point earlier, like, hell yeah, do it all year long. ABC, always be recruiting. You're never going to regret meeting your next best employee, and it's totally fine, Chad, again, to your point, you're going to have average players, and it's your responsibility as the business owner to make sure that they get replaced with better people for the sake of all of your A players. Your A players don't want to work with your average people. You have to get your A players the best team of coworkers possible. That is what you owe to your business, is to support the best employees in the world. You don't do that.
I got to tell you some story out of my sales meeting 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So here I was. I mean, professionally chewing them all out. I mean, nothing over the top by any means.
Professionally in air quotes.
Well, just waking their asses fucking up. Starts closing people. And we started listening to we have Zero, which we can hear they record out in the field. And it's like nobody's doing the process. It's like, God damn it, just get back to the process.
Yeah.
That's it. And since I've chewed them out, things have the coin flip.
Yeah.
The coin
There's a reason
flip,
why
right?
we do it the way we do it.
So I'm sitting there chewing them out, and I've got $3 million sales guys that work for me, who all of them who've only worked for me for a year and a half. I trained them on the sales process and how to do it. And the one of them, he comes from being a janitorial manager. I would have never hired this guy. But my old COO, who I terminated, he hired this guy. Sweet guy. He's starting to become a problem. And, I'm starting recognizing the problem. And he flat out in the middle of the meeting goes, "Well, I'm not a salesman." And I looked around at everybody. I said, "Guys, we got a non-salesman in the salesman group here. So let me inform you." And his name's Tim. "Let me inform you, Tim. You've been selling now for a year and a half. You're a salesman. I never want to hear it out of your mouth again ever to say you're not a salesman, because you are." I said, "You don't go out and sell $1 million worth of chimney stuff in your first year, which the normal standard first-year sales guy in a chimney truck does $500,000, and you did $1 million."
Yeah.
Yes,
whether you like it or not. Yeah. Whether you
Yeah.
like it or not, you're a salesman.
You're a salesman. And so you're going to have to start doing some salesy salesman shit, because that's your job. And so, and we kind of laughed about it, and he kind of laughed about it. I had everybody give him a hand. Guess what? You're a salesman now. Everybody give Tim a hand.
Congrats.
We made it fun. But I'll tell you, I got off the phone. I was pissed off. I was like, "Really? You're gonna sit there and tell me you're not a salesman?" Of course, I didn't say nothing, and no one knew. The first time I've even mentioned it, right? And so, but Chad needs to write a book or send out a newscast letter. All right.
Yeah, let's see it. You got
shameless plug. I got a book.
Go.
There you go, G-Talk.
That's good talk.
Operation Entrepreneur Freedom. You can get it on Amazon. I didn't do really
You
good.
wrote-
I gotta go do the recording, so it's on Audible right now. You just
Nice.
get the hard copy, but yeah,
Are you going to record it
waiting
yourself,
for
or are you going to hire
I
somebody
don't
else? to do
fucking know. It's one of those things that it's you have to do it, and you just don't do it.
Yeah.
And
it?
so
Let's do it in the fish house. We'll all take a chapter.
yeah.
Whoever gets the afternoon chapter, it might be a little more slurring going on. But
Well, I did actually book. So last summer, I did book some time to go to a studio to do it. And that was when my mother-in-law died. So I ended up having to cancel and do all the mother-in-law funeral type stuff. And I never have put it back on the books to do it. So, but I have been told it is a good book. And so honestly, I got told by a competitor of mine who read my book. So we're not good friends.
yeah.
He texted me, said, "I read your book, man. That's a fucking pretty good book, man." Went,
That's
"Oh,
a
thanks,
good. That's a
man."
good review. That's probably
That
the
was
best
it.
review.
I asked him
Yeah.
to do a review, and he did not.
He's like, "I don't like you that much, you piece of
He
shit."
didn't like you
But it
that
was a
much.
good. But it was a good book.
But yeah. He actually sent a picture of it. He put it on Facebook. He put it on Facebook and tagged me. He was on the beach in Florida. Said, I always read a book, and so he goes, "I'm reading a competitor of mine's book," and he flashed the picture of my book. and tagged me. I was like, all right. So then I called him up. You know, literally, he was still on the beach. Like, I saw it right away. He was still sitting on the beach. I said, are you really sitting on the beach right now? Fuck yeah. I can tell he was. And we had a nice little conversation, but yeah, he didn't do the review. So it is what it is.
I like you, just not that much. Yeah,
No.
you're still my competitor.
No.
I wanna hit on things you can do to make sure that when you're recruiting now, you're hiring March, April when you need it, right? If you recruit now and don't get them to that finish line, it's all for naught. And it's easier than you think. And I go back to what I had mentioned earlier with Thomas, who reached out to me, and I interviewed him. I think it was October, but it might have been before that. And Ashley, who I hired last, it was 8 months from the time I had interviewed her to when I hired her. Multiple employees were months after I interviewed them to when I hired them. Part of it is back to the mirror thing, right? What are you doing to make people want to come work for you? If you're just posting a job and it's just a job description and you're blaming them for not wanting to come work for you, and you're not selling your business to them, why would they hold out and wait for you? Right? So, and Sean, again, I'm going to steal something from you here, but I'll give you all the credit. Your recruiting is the biggest sale you're going to make all year. That employee that you're hiring is worth more than your best customer ever will be. The amount of revenue that employee creates is off the charts compared to your biggest client. And so you got to treat it like that, right? When they step the foot in the door, like, you need to treat them like they are the most important person in the world, because they're the thing that's going to cause you to sleep well at night and to have a good marriage and to be a good parent. Because if you have shitty employees, the rest of your life is going to suffer too. And JC's not on here anymore, so I can pick on him now. If you watch JC's social media over the last few years, you can tell when he has good employees. And like he's very candid, right? JC will post his emotional ups and downs, and when he's in the doldrums and when he's feeling great, he's super candid about it. One goes along with when he's working out. He doesn't talk about the employee side of it that much, because it's hard to talk about the employee side when you don't have the right ones. You don't want to announce that because they're probably all watching you on social media too. But your mood goes along with your confidence in your employees to take care of your business. And it's the most important thing as a business owner. In order for you to live a good life, have fun, take care of people, which is what you're all trying to do as a business owner, take care of them, take care of the clients, take care of your family, you need the best employees in the world. Like, you deserve it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your spouse. You owe it to your kids. You owe it to the A players on your team. You owe it to your clients to scrutinize over having the best employees in the world. That's your responsibility as the business owner, is to make sure that system exists to do it. So now's the best labor market in the world, but many of us don't actually need these people that we would recruit right now until March or April. And so we got to get them there, right? Part of the reason to recruit now and why it's okay that you can recruit now and hire later is because they still have a job. So if you talk to them soon enough, they know not to quit their job until you reach back out to them. But it's on you to look in that damn mirror that Sean is going to send you when you sign up for Hire Lead Chill. You got to look at that mirror and say, I need to create a job. And Debbie Sardone always talks about this, Sean. Like, you have to create a job that they actually want to have. That is your responsibility. It's not their responsibility to want to come work for you. You have to create a business and a job that they can't live without.
I always say, I think that's huge. I always say, we need to know why somebody's going to wake up every morning and love to come to work for you. What are those reasons? Why am I going to wake up in the morning and just love to come to work for you? Not get out of bed, bitch and moan and groan about it, but look forward to coming to work for you. And the other thing too is, I can tell you right now, if you solve the employee side of your business, you've solved about 95% of your stress in your business. That's huge. I mean, you can grow a massive amount with peace if you solve the employee side. And I can't tell you, I've been in sales most of my life too, in one way, shape, or another. I can't tell you how much easier it is for me to sell when I know I've got guys that are going to go out there and kick ass and take care of things for me. When I have one or two dudes I'm worried about that are going to go out and I've got some review issues, I've got to call the customer now because something happened. when that shit starts happening, I get a little bit antsy about selling. I get just a little bit, I'm not real confident in our service anymore. And that's in the back of my mind. Sometimes it's in the front of my mind. I haven't felt that way in a long time, thankfully, with Nikki and some of the employees I have. But I'll tell you right now, it will affect your marketing and it will affect your sales if you have shitty employees.
I agree. And I gotta go, guys. I got a client in 3 minutes, and I gotta go run around bathroom break and all that kind of stuff. Kiss
Do
my
it
wife,
up.
See,
all that stuff. So peace out. I'll see you in 3 months.
No, you're gonna see me in 1 month when you come ice fishing, and then you'll see me
I
again
hope so.
in like
We'll
2.5.
see.
All right,
Okay.
see you, bud.
Bye.
And I think the other side of that too, to tee up Michael, is you can't use a great marketing service if you don't have your recruiting dialed in. Like if you don't have great players, Sean, to follow up on what you said, it disables other parts of your business. And the reason Thomas emailed me to say, hey, what's it looking like, is I sold him on our vision. I sold him on our culture. And I don't mean sold like I promised him things I'm not going to deliver. I laid out super clear expectations, all the shit that sucks, all the shit that's good, but it's on me to be somebody that they want to follow, right? That's what you're asking them to do. So Sean, I think I still have to send you the group interview video, but the group interview video is really good, by the way.
Good.
But we've talked a lot about group interviews. The reason to do a group interview and turn it around where you're giving your candidates a presentation is what you're asking of them is to follow you wherever you go. That's what you're asking of them. And so how the hell do they know if they want to follow you if you haven't given them all the highs and lows and the ups and downs that can possibly happen in your business? Your job is to set amazing expectations, not to sell them in the sense of convince them to come work for you. I would say convince them to not come and work for you, right? So that the ones that opt in are sure as hell coming. Like if Thomas comes here, my goal is that this is the last job he ever has.
Yeah. You said a powerful thing, man, one time when, and you say it a lot, is two things. One is, as the business owner, you deserve to have the best damn employees working for you. You should have that, right? That's one. But then when you follow that up with and double down on saying to somebody you're interviewing, you want to work with the best employees. We're doing this the right way, interviewing the right way, and I want you to stick around because when there's an opening, I'm not dumpster hiring. I'm hiring the best of the best because that's the type of place I want you guys to work at.
Yep. It's just so important to hit that on.
I also have to bounce that call right now. So
do it up.
You're awesome. See you guys.
See you, Mike.
I do think that whole that bridge that you need, the gap that you need to bridge from when you recruit them to when you hire them, if you're good at setting expectations and being somebody they want to follow, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm patting myself on the back right now. But again, like the only reason Thomas reached out is he's in.
Yeah.
And I just need to tell him when we're going. But I gave him everything he needs to know to decide that this is the last place he's ever going to work. There's another guy that I interviewed, and I actually don't know if it's the right job for him. And Sean, I think he would be an awesome account manager. Actually, I think I introduced him to you. Emil is his name, or maybe I asked him if I should, and I forgot to. But nonetheless, okay. So I had interviewed him. He doesn't have a accounting background, which is like a hard stop for me. But he was able to get through. He's super resilient. So he's able to get through all of the accounting questions that I had that were the filters. Like he made it through. He made it through all the scoring. He made it through the interview table because he's crafty and he's resilient, which is like what you need your employees to do.
Right.
And when I got done with the interview, he literally emailed me immediately and was like, I will follow you anywhere. I'm going to war with you. I'm going into bookkeeping hell with you. I'm going wherever you're going. And he has followed up with me, and we've jumped on a phone call and a Zoom call since. And I was like, I gotta find the right spot for this guy. He's in. Like he wants to be a part of it. I actually think he'd be great to like bring to conventions and represent the company. Like he's got tons of energy. He's not your typical nerdy accountant. Like I think he could do it, but I don't think it's the right job for him. Like accountants are different. We're more pragmatic and nerdy. This dude's like a salesperson wrapped in I'll take it apart and like in an engineer's body. Like I'll take it all apart and I'll put it back together, and I just want to talk to business owners and help them do the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy's just got he's got energy like I have energy, where you can't shut me up. So that was pretty funny. It was like, well, you're interviewing right when people email you immediately after and tell you like, if you go into war, I'm coming to war with you. I was like, all right, man, oh shit. Like I didn't
That's
know we were
awesome.
doing that, but all right. But I think that's what you're looking for, right? And if you have that, if you recruit them in January and you tell them, hey, I tell them I can't hire them for a year.
Right. Right.
So I tell people when I interview them, I'm like, I just don't have a job for you right now. I just need to know who I'm going to pick first.
Here's the thing that I think a number of people that are either watching this or going to be watching this have in the back of their mind, and I know because I hear this a lot. I don't hear it as much because they've listened to us talk about this now for quite a while. But I used to always hear, well, I feel uncomfortable doing that and telling somebody I don't have a job. I feel like I'm misleading, all that other stuff. And it's all about two things. One is, if you were doing a group interview the way that Dan and I talk about, and that is a sales presentation with no stress and no hard questions, no stressful, stupid, open-ended questions about your strengths and weaknesses and that nonsense. It's completely unique. I promise you, the way that Dan and I talk about group interviewing, nobody else is doing it that way, nowhere near you, okay? Unless they're listening to this. They're just not. You're so unique in that regard that that's already something that they're interested in because they've never seen this before.
Yep.
And if you're talking about your core values and your business and where you want to go with this business, every business owner I've ever heard that story, it's a great, fun story to listen to. I've never heard a boring story from a business owner talking about how they started their business, where they're headed, why we're here today. Everybody gets passionate about that, no matter how reserved you are. Those are the types of things that they want to hear. So if you're thinking out there, I'm not really an interesting person, I'm maybe a whatever, I'm passionate about my business, but I'm not really loud and excitable, I guess. That's okay. You're doing things differently as it is. But I promise you, you're going to sound more passionate when you start talking about your business in an interview instead of saying, can you please tell me the last time that you were in a situation where the customer was upset and how did you handle that? I mean, it's all bullshit. It doesn't do anybody any good.
It doesn't. And all you're filtering for is people that are good at being interviewed.
That's all it is, man. That's all it is.
All you're actually interviewing for is who's the best salesperson.
Exactly.
They're just selling you on themselves. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
The group interview is just so sneaky good. It's so sneaky.
Real good. It's real good.
And it just always seems to me like it's so much more efficient. You can get through so many more people. So if you recruit, in my cutoff that I tell everybody is get 500 applicants. Don't stop until you get 500. I don't care what it costs you. If it costs you $1,000, $5,000. And on the video that I recorded for you today that I still got to download and send to you, here's my math, and then we'll wrap this thing up. On a really low average, super low bar, let's say an employee can generate $100,000 of revenue, which, like, if you're in a maid service space, that'd be higher,
right?
Poop scooping, but any other landscaping, even mowing, you can knock that out depending on where you're watching. Window washing, you're well above that. Pressure washing, you're way above that. If you're an HVAC, plumber, whatever, you're way the hell above that, right? Garage doors, wherever you're at. So like if I even just say $100,000, which most businesses are above as far as what an employee can generate, and I say it's going to cost you $5,000 to go get that employee. All of those businesses make about $15,000 net profit on $100,000. They're about 15% net profit. Now, depending on the business, some are more, some are a little bit less, but in general, 15% is like a net profit target. So I'm saying you could spend $5,000 to go get the best employee you've ever had. That'd be a fucking lot of money to spend, by the way. I don't think you need to actually spend that much. I'm just trying to make a point, but you could spend $5,000 and go get an employee for $100,000. And that's probably going to lead to $15,000 in your bank account as far as net income after you've already hired them and paid them. And that's a 300% ROI.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like nowadays ROI gets skewed because so many marketing idiots are like, oh yeah, it can 10X. And they're talking about revenue, not actually return. Right. And so they all jack it up because they're dummies.
Right.
Besides Michael. Michael knows. But they all use ROI incorrectly. It's like revenue on investment. It's not revenue,
Right.
it's return. Like how much money do you have left after you pay for everything? Not just pay for the marketing, but pay for the cogs and the admin person that answered the phone and the salesperson that sold it and the rent bill that you got to pay to house all this stuff and the repairs and maintenance because the equipment broke. When you pay all that, there's only 10 to 20% left, depending on your industry usually. And so your ROI on recruiting is off the charts. And
Big
people are so hilariously cheap about it. I did the core value video today, and maybe I did that one yesterday, but I did the why to spend money on recruiting and how financially it makes sense.
Good.
I got that one down. So I did all the videos, man. I did all the videos. Now I just got
appreciate it, man.
But for everybody that's listening, the point I'm making is do it, recruit right now. Because now is when it's going to be the cheapest. You don't need to spend $5,000. You might be able to get 500 applicants for less than $500.
Hey, man, real quick too, on that note, it's already the 15th of January. So if you start recruiting, let's say you're getting your shit done by the end of the week, next week's the end of January. So it's going to take you 2 weeks to get everything going, maybe get some application flow. Now we're into February. So you're going to be hiring probably close to mid-February if you start next week.
That's a good point.
So it's go time now, big time.
It's go time. Do it. You got to do it. As always, if you need help, there's a reason why Sean's on this show all the time is because he's the dude that helps you do this thing. There's a reason why Angela's on the show too, because you might need a VA. She's who we use for all of our VAs, our admin team, our bookkeeping team. We get them from Angela. People don't get to come on the show because they have shitty things that you don't need. Michael's not here because he does shitty marketing. He's here because he's the best marketing dude that I know. So use these resources that we always have on here for you. Sean, you the man. I know you're helping a bunch of people this time of year and you're only going to get busier. So hopefully we can still keep getting you on the show.
Sounds good, man.
Business nerds. I don't have a show tonight. I already recorded 2 episodes this week. Jai's getting buried. I didn't
This
record
is the third one.
Yeah, this is the third
This is
one.
the third one.
Yeah, so we're just going hard here. We're behind. I'm catching us up on episodes. So now I'm burying you with podcasts to tidy up for me. But yeah,
follow us if you want to have more content like this, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, on Spotify, all your podcast services. We're out there.
I'm glad somebody's being responsible around here and reminding people how to do that thing. Is just definitely not me. I always forget. But yeah, there it is. We got bookkeeping, recruiting, marketing, VA service. It's all on here. Whatever you need. CRM, the best CRM that I've ever found.
Yeah,
right here. Check that out.
Service Monster.
Use
the QR code.
Yeah, use the QR code. Jai, play us some play out music and we'll wrap this baby up. There we go. Now I feel like we can close out the show. Like I said, no show tonight. Oh, yeah. Got it. Business nerds, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. Peace out.